practice sewing, here's an easy way to do it without having to worry about getting your thread all tangled up on your machine because you don't know what you're doing quite so well yet. This is actually what we do in class normally, and I usually give you a sheet that has lines printed on it, but here you can actually draw some, and you can do this. You can actually just use lined paper if you have it from your notebooks, or just get some plain blank paper. But here's what we're going to do. You can draw some straight lines. I would do at least 4. You can do more than that if you want. If you want to be really precise, you can use a ruler. I'm not that good at drawing, but I think I can manage a fairly straight line. I want you to do some that have 90-degree angles. Okay, so you could do lines like this. They can go all different directions. Okay, you can even do things like boxes. You can also do some swirls and squiggles, but they're a little harder, just know that. Okay, you can even do like circles. Okay, but just know this is easy. This is still fairly easy. This stuff gets a lot harder, but the key is take your time. This is a lot like a driver's test. Okay, consider yourself on a learner's permit right now. You're going to turn your paper sideways so that you're going to be sewing right over the lines. Now what you're going to need to do is make sure your needle's up. Okay, position your paper so that your needle is over top of the black line. Lower your needle down onto the black line using the hand wheel. Put your presser foot down gently, okay? And you're going to sew right over top that black line, trying to stay on the line. Okay, now I'm going to keep my hands here and keep them out of the way. I'm going to go easy on my foot pedal. And it might take a little practice to get the hang of how much pressure to put. Some machines, you know, the foot pedal takes more pressure. The ones we use for school, they can be a little touchy. Now, you don't want to blow through a stop sign or a red light in driving. You wouldn't want to do it here. So stop before you get to the end of your line. You can use the hand wheel to do a few careful stitches. Turn your hand wheel until your take-up lever is all the way up to the top. Like that. I remember this is the take-up lever. That tells you that your needle is up the whole way. And then you simply can pick up your presser foot and pull your paper out. And then you can see how you did. Okay? So try to be on that line. So then you can go ahead and, you know, do more lines. But don't forget to put your presser foot down, because if you do, this is what's going to happen. Nothing's holding it in place. It gets to be kind of a mess. If you heard a whole bunch of running around in bells there, that was Oscar. He's my other teacher assistant. Again, I'm sure he'll be very helpful today. All right, so make sure you also don't go too fast. If you're going too fast, don't hold down the paper because you think it's going to slow you down. It's not going to work. You need to go easier on the foot pedal. Just take your time. You sometimes have to steer to the left or right a little bit with your hands to keep your paper in the right direction. Okay, but remember, the slower you go, the more control you're going to have. And again, you can use the hand wheel as needed. Sometimes I have people get really nervous and then they use the hand wheel the entire time. I mean, you can do that, but it's going to take a long time. Okay, now, I realized how bad that first line is. It's not very straight. Okay, now, here's what we're going to do for ones with corners. Okay, so anytime you need to do a turn, okay, and 90-degree angles are the kind that we do a lot. Okay, so line up on top of your line. Move this a little closer. Okay, and I'm going to show you how we do that. Now, anytime you come to a corner, okay, you're going to want to use the hand wheel. And you're going to carefully turn the hand wheel and line up your needle as close to your corner as you can. Put your needle down. This is really important to make sure your needle's down. That's going to hold your paper in place, or when you're doing fabric, it'll hold your fabric in place. Because keep in mind, normally you'll have thread on the machine. And you never ever want to be picking up your needle and your presser foot at the same time in the middle of sewing something. Okay, if you're done, that's one thing, but not in the middle. So needle has to be down. That's holding your paper in place. Then you can pick your presser foot up. Now notice, because the needle is holding it down, your paper stays put. You can turn it, but it won't slip out. So we're doing a move called a pivot. You might know the word pivot from basketball or something. You're going to keep that needle down, kind of like when your foot stays planted in a pivot. Okay, now when I turn, I see I'm not perfectly lined up on the line, so maybe I'll turn it back, put my presser foot back down, and do another stitch forward. And that's close enough. Yep. So again, needle down, pick your presser foot up, then you can turn, put your presser foot back down. Remember, we never ever want to sew with the presser foot up. It makes a big mess of thread. Okay, and then you can go. Again, take your time, especially if you don't have very much distance in between your corners. So again, needle down, presser foot up, pivot, turn that paper, put your presser foot down, and then go. Again, use your hand wheel to get to the right spot. I wouldn't go full speed all the way to your corner. Needle down, presser foot up, turn the paper, presser foot down, and then go. I'm going to do the rest of these. Let's say you go too far by accident. Well, just hold in the reverse button and just go backwards one. If you use the reverse button right here, remember you have to hold it in the whole time that you're using it. Okay. Press it up, turn, press it back down, and go. And again, I would not recommend you do this very fast. Now, not all turns will be 90 degrees. Sometimes you might have smaller angles or larger ones, but however you're going to do it, you have to have your needle down before you pick your presser foot up. Okay, so that's pretty much how it goes. I'm not going to actually do it with the rest of them. Okay, but when you're done, you can pick up your presser foot and your needle and take them out. Then you can see how you did. All right, as for swiggles and things, honestly, the key to that is just take your time. Now, honestly, sometimes you might want to just use the hand wheel if it's really tough. And as it's going, I'm kind of turning it. So that can be a little hard, but you can play around with it, have some fun, okay? And if you go too fast, you're gonna go off-roading and make a mess, so just careful. All right, well, hopefully you'll have some fun practicing that. Again, keep your fingers away from the needle, okay? Don't be a horror story. All right, have fun.